Are you looking to purchase your very first home, but have so many questions around the processes and what to expect that you don't even know where to start? Then you're gonna love this video, as I'm gonna be sharing with you the most common first-time home buyer questions I get on a daily basis when helping out other first-time home buyers, so you can make the most informed decision possible, ensuring that you are not only finding the home that is right for you, but it's also a smart investment. So stay tuned. Alright, so I routinely work with first-time homebuyers on a daily basis, helping them find their very first home. And what I've noticed is that there's a couple common questions that come up on a routine basis. So I thought here, why not make this YouTube video so that not only can I help answer the questions that you might have, but also share some other questions that other people are thinking of that maybe you haven't thought of yet. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 8 first-time homebuyer questions that I get most often in their exact answers. Now, of course, when you're purchasing your home for your very first time, you're gonna have more than just 8 questions. So if I didn't address a question that you have personally, feel free to message me on Instagram and I'd be happy to help you out and figure out that answer to that question. Now, make sure you watch until the end of this video, as I'll be sharing how you can get your own copy of my free informed buyer's guide, which not only is going to have all the answers to the questions we'll be covering today, but also jam-packed full of other information you need to know when purchasing a home. But let's hop on in to the first most common question I get. Now, the first question I get most often is, what exactly is my first step? Now, there's really 2 ways you could go about this, but truly to start moving forward on getting your home purchase is you need to be pre-approved. And if you meet with me first, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you the same thing, that you need to get pre-approved. And the reason why this is because in the GTA where I work, it's a seller's market, which means you need to be prepared with your financials in order and actually understand how much you can afford, so that when we go out to look for properties, we can look with the intent of buying rather than just browsing at properties on the market. Another advantage with getting pre-approved is that we are in a seller's market right now, which means speed and the ability to act quickly when you find the home that you want to purchase is absolutely crucial in order for you to secure it. Now, to be clear, I'm not referring to those online mortgage calculators that you punch in a couple of numbers and it spits out numbers. What I'm referring to is you go speak to a professional, that you give them your information about your credit score, your employment history, and more information that they would need in order to actually get you pre-approved, that is stated that you are qualified for a certain amount. So where should you get pre-approved? What I would recommend is always going to a mortgage broker over a bank. And the reason why this is if you go to let's say a CIBC representative, they're going to tell you the mortgage packages that CIBC has to offer. Whereas if you go to a mortgage broker, what they're going to do is they're going to look at all the banks, TD, Scotiabank, CIBC, and more, and shop around for your best interest. And I don't know about you, but more options that someone has looking into a mortgage, the better chances you are to get a better and more favorable rate where you could qualify for even more money. Now, if you don't know a good mortgage broker yourself, feel free to message me. I have some great contacts and trusted mortgage brokers that would really help you out in securing that pre-approval. So talking about pre-approval brings us to our next question, which is, what is the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approval? So pre-qualified, to put simply, is just you verbally telling a mortgage broker or someone that issues mortgages what your status is financially, and them giving you back a number that is a rough estimate in a short period of time. Now, this doesn't mean you're actually approved for that amount. In order to actually be approved for a mortgage, you need to get that pre-approval. And the reason why this is because when you're going to get a pre-approval, not only are you just telling the mortgage broker exactly what your financial status is, but you're actually backing it up by documentation, and this process tends to take a bit longer than a pre-qualification. However, once you're pre-approved, you'll be pre-approved for a certain point where you'll be guaranteed to get a mortgage as long as everything else works out with that property that you'll be purchasing. And you absolutely want this one over a pre-qualification if you're actually serious about going out and purchasing a home, as speed in order to get that house that you found and that you wanted is absolutely crucial, and you don't want to lose out on a home because you thought pre-qualified was enough and then you're waiting around to be pre-approved while another buyer that was pre-approved comes in and sweeps that dream home that you wanted. All right, so now that you're pre-approved and ready to go home shopping, the next common question is, how much does it cost to use a buyer's agent? And this is one of the most commonly misunderstood questions I get, and the reason why that is it's actually free to use a buyer's agent. I know, it's crazy to think that, but the reason why this is because the seller actually pays us when the transaction is done. Therefore, if you don't ever purchase a home, it's absolutely free to use. Now, if you're interested in the fees or my commission, what typically you find in the GTA is that it's a 5% commission split between the listing agent and the buyer's agent, where it's 2.5 for the buyer and 2.5 for the listing agent. So that might put a thought in your head where it's like, why would I use a buyer's agent? Maybe I can save on that 2.5 commission. Well, let me tell you, if you choose not to use a buyer's agent, what typically ends up happening is that listing agent will just take that 5%. Then you might also have another question. Well, what if I negotiate that 2.5% down or lower on the purchase price? And unfortunately, in the GTA, we're a seller's market, and the likelihood you buying a home at a discount below list price, unless the home's been on days on the market, is very unlikely. Now, of course, it's not always a seller's market, as at the end of the day, markets run in cycles. Typically in the past, the GTA has been in a seller's market, but let's play the devil's advocate here and chat about a buyer's market and what you could possibly do there. So let's say you find a property that's been on the market for 20 weeks and the sellers are desperate to sell it and find buyers. And the listing agent tells you that you can save 3% if you choose not to go with a buyer's agent. Let me ask you this. Do you think an experienced buyer's agent would be able to negotiate more than just 3% off if the sellers are in this situation? And in my experience and in my opinion, that answer is yes. So either way, in a buyer's market and a seller's market, you're actually going to be saving money when you end up using a real estate agent that has the proper expertise and has the strategies that you need. Now, I do want to mention this one caveat to this question, and that is if you've signed a buyer representation agreement where you have agreed to pay the buyer's agent 2.5%, and then you go see a home where it's stated in the MLS listing that the listing agent will only pay the buyer's agent 2%. What happens is that there's this price discrepancy between 2% and 2.5%, and you on the buyer could be on the hook for paying that 0.5 difference. Now, this is why I believe it's absolutely crucial to work with the right realtor that fits your needs, as when I work with my clients and this happens here, I don't ask my clients to pay any more extra money. I take what that listing agent's commission is stated. And the reason why this is I don't want my buyers worried about extra fees that could possibly pop up. But I know not all agents are created equal, so it's something that I want to make sure you're at least aware of. Now, the fourth most common question I get is, how much is my down payment? And if you plan on living in the residence that you'll be purchasing, the minimum amount is 5%. And I'll flash on the screen right here some of the different mortgage things depending on the purchase price. However, if you're choosing on investing, the minimum you can pay is 20% down. Now, with that said, if you do choose to put a down payment less than 20%, what you will have to end up paying is mortgage insurance, as at the end of the day, the bank is taking a greater risk when you have less of a down payment, and therefore the bank wants a little bit of insurance due to that fact. The fifth most common question I get is, how do I know it's a good community or neighborhood? And these are really simple answers, but I think it's important to cover. And the first is, have a realtor that actually knows your local area and can talk about those local experiences. Other than that, a couple things you can do is just spend a couple days in the area, seeing how you feel, how safe it is, and chatting with the neighbors and seeing how friendly everyone is. what I always recommend to my clients is if they're looking to purchase in a neighborhood that they're unsure about, go check out some local amenities that you might use on a routine basis. So if you like going to the library, go to the local library. If you want to go work out on the park, go spend a couple days on the park and see how it is and how exactly it makes you feel. Other than that, there's some great statistics, and if you have a good realtor, they can pull up some statistics giving you more of the statistical analysis of exactly how safe that neighborhood is and other stats that you might find useful when deciding which neighborhood or community you would like to live in. Now, the next question I get most frequently is, how do I get out and see those homes I've been seeing online? So my first question to you would be, have you been pre-approved? As almost every real estate agent is going to ask you this question first before they go see homes, especially in the GTA, as to be honest, it's a waste of your time as well as the realtor's time if you're just going to see homes, as if you're not pre-approved, you can't put action on it. But once you're pre-approved, all you can do is really just chat with your realtor and ask them to go book a couple showings so that you guys can go out together, get a better feel of the homes that you're seeing in the pictures, because at the end of the day, pictures don't tell the full story and you need to see it in person. So what I recommend is just going out with your realtor, getting them to book maybe 4 to 8 showings and seeing a bunch of homes and giving them feedback on what homes you liked and what homes you didn't like. So moving forward, you can better find homes and use your time more effectively to find homes that match your criteria. Now, the 7th most common question I get is, do I have to waive a home inspection in a multiple offer situation? Now, to be honest with you, I don't ever want to lead my sellers to not include a home inspection, but the reality is if you're in a multiple offer situations, the likelihood of you getting that offer accepted because you have a home inspection definitely decreases if there's other offers on the table that don't have a home inspection. Now, with that said, there's a couple creative solutions you could do to help you have that peace of mind that a home inspection offers you, while also not necessarily letting it hinder you in a multiple offer situations. And the first thing you could ask is get your buyer's agent to ask the listing agent if they've done a pre-delivered home inspection, where maybe the seller has had a home inspection recently done and you could see a copy of that. Another thing you could do is a pre-inspection, and this is an inspection that you get done and you could ask the listing agent, hey, can we go see an inspection of the home before we ever put in an offer? This is an option, but some listing agents may not be as cooperative. So a workaround that you might be able to do, depending on how lenient the listing agent is and cooperable they are, is when you're going to view your home, maybe for a second time that you're interested in putting an offer in, see if a home inspector can at least walk through the property with you as you're viewing that home, just to see if they notice any deficiencies while walking through it. The third thing you could do to have that peace of mind is a home inspection for information. So similar to a regular home inspection, you would include this in the offer, but where it differs from a typical home inspection is rather than doing a home inspection where you get the results and then you get to decide whether it's up to your standards or not, a home inspection for info simply means you don't get to decide whether or not it's good to move forward or not, because at the end of the day, you still have to move forward with the property, but at least you're aware of all the deficiencies that might come up. Now, the final most common question I get is, how much are my closing costs when I purchase a home? And similar to the last question, there's no one straightforward answer, as it really depends on your personal situation, as the closing cost for a condo is going to differ from a single family residence, is going to differ from a lakeside cottage. But a great rule of thumb is it's between about 1.5% to about 4%. Now, what I can do is give you all the possible closing costs that you can possibly ever know so that you can be best prepared, and then go speak with your buyer's agent to discuss which are more likely for your own personal situation. So if you want to learn all about the closing costs associated, or learn more about the home buying guide and anything else associated with buying your very first home, download my Informed Buyer's Guide. The link will be in the description, where I cover in detail all the steps you need to expect, as well as all the closing costs. Now, if you have any further questions about purchasing your very first home and you want a personalized response to to any of these questions that maybe I couldn't give you that personalized response, feel free to message me on Instagram. I'd be happy to set up a call and really hear your personal situation so I can best address all the questions you have. Other than that, guys, make sure to hit the like button if this helped you answer any questions that you had about purchasing your very first home, and make sure to smash that subscribe button and the notification bell if you want to learn more about real estate, finance, or personal development in general, as this is what this channel is all about, is helping you make more informed decisions in all those aspects of your life. Other than that, guys, I hope you have a great and successful week, and I'll chat with you next week.